The Magician. The magician is the embodiment of the belief in the strength of the mind and the power of positive thinking. He is number 1, indicating that this idea is the most important thought of the major arcana cards. His concept is the I am principle of I am that which I think I am. He symbolizes the vitality of the conscious mind, which is the key to all creative and success portals. Our mental self-image, in other words, how we see ourselves, is very magical. For the correct application of this notion creates our personal success and failures. All magic truly stems from our mental programming and is our own creation. The occultists skillfully designed the magician card to personify these potentials of our tweaking mentality and to suggest the key to the unlocking of its creativity. Confidence and faith in ourselves and our talents can create conscious mental magic that results in self-fulfilling prophecy. We become what we imagine ourselves to be. To achieve this, we must remember that our conscious mind can link with all of the potent forces of the subconscious mind, our super mind, the universe. The mind through which we tap and connect to is unlimited potential. And that's what the Fool card represented. Now we're at the Magician. We're an intelligent soul. We recall our link with the creative supernatural. That is indicated by the infinity symbol floating above his head. And we are aware of the source of infinite potential waiting for us to focus our attention. When you take a look at the card, you'll see a double pointed wand that the magician is holding up in the air. And that indicates the directing skills as of above as well as below. This suggests that the magician is directing skills and has the ability to bring it downward into manifestation, while focusing and being completely aware that the creative power he tapped into is from a source higher than the individual's own limited intelligence and energy. So this card is actually a serious atmosphere. We find both youthful energy, but his attitude has matured from the happy-go-lucky philosophy that we saw in the Fool. He now wears white garments of an initiate to indicate that his intentions are sincere, while the red robe indicates that he is desirous. He's ambitious. He wants ambitious things and achievements in his world. Red in the tarot is the color of passion and desire. And if you take a look at the table represents his altar. It is also his workbench. And you find all of the tools. We find the implements that the fool once carried in his knapsack. The wand represents our will and desire. The cup represents our lovingness and our sensitivity. The sword represents our thoughts and our deeds. The pentacle symbolizes our physical body and its material requirements for survival. These implements, in turn, symbolize the four parts of the magician himself and suggests that it is the fourfold aspect of our own personality that will be worked on. So take a look at the magician card. And the magician represents the student, buckling down to conquer an assignment. They're the craft person. They're applying discipline and connection to achieve mastery. And the professional competency in accomplishing these career goals. He is the artist, possessing not only the creative ability to conceive an original idea, but also the coordinating ability and practical skills to carry the idea through to fruition. Now, through the fool's wanderings, life has been explored, and the personal key to its fulfillment has been discovered. The time has now come to affirm choices by directing concentrated effort toward the attainment of that mastery. So when you get the magician in your reading, it represents, and the magician upright is what I'm talking about, it represents the planning and directing of an ambitious creative idea or plan. So this person knows what they should be doing. The magician symbolizes an idea that the seeker desires to achieve or to produce or to attain, and the goal may be realized through dedication and concentrated effort. The circumstances are unique. There is talent and skills that are to see the idea through to completion. So they need to put their talent and skills into play. That's part of the magic. This card may now be included in the selection of an indicator in a man's reading. So what I mean by that is, some people will do readings where they actually choose a card that represents the person they're reading. And this is something that you can do if you're doing readings for someone that is of long distance. So you can actually choose the indicator card to represent a man in a man's reading. Or if a man chooses that card to represent him, because some people will allow the seeker to choose a card that represents them, then the magician and that person is ambitious, and they're concerned with freedom. They want freedom, and they aim towards self-reliance and self-sufficiency. In a woman's reading, he may indicate a man with these previous mentioned characteristics who desired to build his life around the woman that you're reading. He is devoted and an active participant in their relationship. The magician indicates creative mental ideas or an attitude of self-confidence for both male and females. And the seeker could be a designer, they could be a director, they could be a manager, a leader. They could be a specialist who applies guidance skills or coordinating skills. They could also be in the profession of leisure pursuits. So the magician will represent someone who is creative mentally, and they like to put those plans into action, and they should use it in their career. If you're ever doing a reading for a legal situation and someone asks about a legal reading or what's going to happen, the magician many times represents a lawyer. In a medical reading, he will be the doctor. Additionally, he will be found in a role of leadership, so a teacher, an advisor, or a counselor. So when you take a look at the card, the magician card, you'll see that the wand is the scepter. He's holding it high, as above, so below. So he is generating that power into his world. And he's doing that because of the ideas. And those ideas represent that white headband he's wearing, his crown. And that crown has amazing magical abilities. He's tapped in and can connect to the infinite power of the universe. With the altar, he has all of the cups. Now they say those two are all of the tools. So you see the cups, the pentacle, the sword, and the wand. And those things were always believed to be in the fool's backpack. But what they mean sitting on that altar is that the magician understands what power, whether it's one or all four, he needs to tap into to direct the energy into what he needs. So he knows how to connect, and he has already received the power of new beginnings through the aces that we discussed before. You'll also see that the card below the altar, there's white lilies and red flowers. Well, when you see red flowers, red roses and white lilies in a reading, they represent the path of life. So the magician with the red roses that surround him represents the passion and the life that he wants to live. And the white lilies usually represent a peaceful life, honoring yourself, but making choices based on what others want. And so you can see that in that card, those red and white flowers are all there in bloom. You'll also see that he is wearing a belt, and that belt represents power, that he understands that he is the one in power and can tap into these. So it represents his ground, and it represents how he feels on his ground. So I hope you enjoyed the magician card and can implement this information into your readings. So take note on when the magician pops up, because it also represents a whole new beginning, a path a person should be walking because of how they feel or see or what they want. So it is a good choice for them. Their path is good, and it has more to do with identity and the fulfillment of their gifts.